The deep well of depression is my interpretation of what it's like to live with depression. It's my way of describing that dark place in this disorder. I believe that by conceptualizing the components that make up the anatomy of this deep dark well, we can shed some light on an otherwise dark and mysterious place, and maybe even find a way out. In this video, we're going to talk about the next component of the deep well of depression concept, the rope of support. But first, hello, Jamie Dukes here, and welcome to Deep Well Motivation, where we share knowledge, perspectives, and actions to help motivate you to be the best you can be in your mental health. If you'd like to join us on our wellness journey, we upload 1 to 2 videos per week, so go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and click the notification button so you don't miss a single upload. On this channel, there is hope always. Now, if you notice in the deep well depression diagram that I have displayed here behind me, on top of the well are 2 supporters. And these supporters are holding on to a rope. And notice that the rope stretches from the top of the well all the way down to the bottom of the well and is floating next to the person who is treading water in the deep dark well of depression. Now, these supporters, they are holding on to the rope tightly, very tightly. Now, what this rope symbolizes are the people and resources that are there to help somebody who is struggling with depression. They could be family members, they could be friends, they could be healthcare professionals, they could be resources that are available online. So really, it's a broad spectrum of support for somebody who is struggling with this disorder. Now, in my own personal experience, I had many supporters. My wife, for example, was a huge supporter. I had a really special friend who helped me along the way as well. And, I had access to lots of online information to learn from. There's tons and tons of support out there, and that's really what this rope serves to represent, are the support mechanisms that are out there. So if you think of it from the conceptual perspective here, well, that rope is well within reach of the person who is treading the dark water of despair. However, it's just there. And the person, in order to access these support mechanisms, they have to consciously make a choice. They have to let go of the weeds of damaging beliefs and instead grip on to the rope. And the idea is that the supporters who are on top of the well, once the person who is treading the dark water of despair, once they choose to grab onto the rope really tightly, then the supporters can serve to pull them up to the first rung on the ladder that is in the well. And that is the key purpose of the rope, to illustrate our supporters reaching out to us, wanting to help us, wanting to be there for us in our darkest hour. Another purpose of this rope of support metaphor is that it serves as a safety net, so that when we are positioned on the ladder, at any given point where we may feel like we're losing grip of the ladder, we can reach for the rope, and our supporters will be there to kind of hold on to that rope to prevent us from letting go and falling back into the deep dark water of despair, back into that dark, dark place. Now, the rope serves as a very powerful metaphor because its effectiveness as a support mechanism really depends on one thing, and that is choice. You see, the person who is suffering, the person who is treading the deep dark water of despair, so to speak, they have to make a single choice, and that is choose to let go of the weeds of damaging beliefs and instead grip the rope so that our supporters can help us, so that they can pull us up to the ladder, or choose not to reach for the rope and instead maintain grip on the weeds of damaging beliefs, at which point that choice would keep us anchored in our depressive episode. And what this translates to in the reality is allowing our supporters who are reaching out to us, to meet them halfway. They want to help us. They want to see us succeed in this disorder, and they want to do everything they can to help us. But we have to help ourselves, and we have to trust in them that they can help us. I believe that the conscious act of letting go of the weeds of damaging beliefs and reaching for the rope of supports where supporters can help us, can pull us up to the ladder, is a critical first step in our healing process in this disorder. Because until we can make that proactive and responsible choice, we cannot put our healing journey into motion. We will remain anchored in this deep dark well, or in this dark place in our disorder. Okay, so I know what you may be thinking right now. If it's that simple, our supporters are on top of the well, they're holding onto this rope, the rope goes all the way down to the bottom of the well, it's floating on this deep dark water of despair, certainly within reach of the person who is trading water. Easy peasy. The person should just grab onto the rope, our supporters will pull them right out of the well and cure their depression. Well, it's not that easy. In fact, there is a very important limitation to this rope of support metaphor, and that is our supporters cannot do the work for somebody who is struggling in depression. They can't pull you out of your depression. They can't cure your depression. And if you think about being in a situation when you're trying to help somebody who may be struggling with a mental illness, and you're just, it might be easy for somebody to get frustrated and, why doesn't this person listen to what I'm saying? I mean, they have such great things going for them. Why do they have to feel so sad? They shouldn't be feeling sad all the time. They have a great life. They have great relationships and blah, 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 right? I mean, it logically doesn't make any sense why this person would be struggling with a mood disorder when their life is so great, right? And that can cause a significant amount of frustration. To me, it's a lack of understanding about the sheer complexity of this disorder. Somebody who's never gone through depression, it's so difficult to understand, it's so difficult to relate to this illness because it affects people in different ways. Now, when I talk about this whole deep well of depression concept as a way of describing what depression is to me, well, that's what it feels like to me. But it could feel like something completely different to somebody else. I don't know. But this is my own intimate, understanding of what depression would look like if you were able to see it, if you're able to touch it. These are the internal features to me that make sense, that I can at least, somehow derive some understanding and connect some real concepts to why it is that I'm struggling with this illness. All the features that make up this deep well of depression, they all serve to symbolize something that parallels a real life experience that I'm dealing with respect to my depressive symptoms, right? So here's my reasoning as to why our supporters cannot solve our depression, okay? Why our supporters cannot fix the problem for us. All right, in the context of the deep well of depression, for example. Well, if you think about the person who's treading water in the deep, dark water of despair, okay, they're exhausted. They're exhausted. They're exhausted mentally. They're exhausted physically because they're treading water and they're being attacked by the piranha of depression, right? And it's absolutely exhausting. All right, they've got no strength. Even if this person could let go of the weeds of damage and belief and grip on to the rope of support, they wouldn't have the physical and mental strength to hold on to the rope, to be pulled up all the way to the top of the well, up and out of the well by our supporters. Okay, they're wet, their hands are wet, they're gonna slip, they're gonna let go. Another conceptual reason as to why our supporters cannot just simply pull the person out of the well is that in order for the person to grip onto the rope of support, they have to let go of the weeds of damaging beliefs, right? And the weeds of damaging beliefs, it's our tainted belief system, all right? It's what our disorder is telling us, is dictating to us in our darkest hour, that, it's difficult to ward off some of these beliefs, and you think terrible things. You think, my family would be better off without me. It was a common belief that I had to contend with, and I struggled with, because it broke me. It just pulled me down. But that's what I believed, and it was so difficult to let go of that belief. And in order to grip onto the rope, you have to let go of these beliefs. And sometimes it's very, very difficult to let go of those. You need something. You need to shock your belief system in some manner in order to let go of these weeds and instead reach for the rope of support. So this is a very important limitation. This is why our supporters and support mechanisms cannot simply fix depression. In order to, in my opinion, in order to heal in this disorder, you have to be proactive and you have to be responsible in your mental health. And as I mentioned, even if the person was strong enough to let go of the weeds of damaging beliefs and instead reach for the rope, they just don't have the mental, physical strength to hold on, to be pulled all the way up. And the danger as sufferers, as the person treading water, if we wait and depend on somebody else to fix our problem, it might create a little bit of leverage for a bit, but it's superficial. Eventually you're going to let go. You're going to lose strength. You're going to lose hope, and you're going to plunge right back down into the deep, dark water of despair.